In a small, quiet town, nights whispered peace beneath silver skies. A little girl named Lily slept soundly, her golden curls on soft pillows. Beside her, always, Max, the family's old golden retriever, stood guard. Every night, he climbed into her bed before she even closed her eyes. To her mother, Sarah, it was simply adorable, love in its purest form. But over time, that sweet routine began to feel strangely consistent. No matter what, Max never left Lily's room once the sun went down. Even when thunder rolled or food was served, he would stay still. His deep brown eyes watched the window like he saw something unseen. Sarah smiled at first, thinking it was his protective instinct. But soon, that smile faded into unease she couldn't explain. What was he watching? What was he waiting for every night? Each time she tried calling him out, he refused to move an inch. He'd only whine softly, then lay his head on Lily's chest again. Something about his sadness felt almost human, almost knowing. Sarah brushed it off as a mother's overthinking heart, until one night the sound of a low growl pierced the silence. Max's eyes glowed in the dark, focused on the shadowed corner. Lily stirred, whispering, "It's okay, Max. Don't be scared." Sarah felt her heart race as she reached for the light switch. But when the bulb flickered on, there was nothing, just stillness. No movement, no intruder, just Max trembling slightly beside her. That night, Sarah realized, this was more than simple loyalty. Something unseen was happening every night, and Max knew. The truth waiting in the dark would soon break her heart open. Every night, Max waited patiently for Lily to climb into bed. As soon as her little head touched the pillow, he'd move closer, his paws wrapped gently around her as if guarding her dreams. Sarah often smiled, thinking it was just affection, nothing more. But soon, she noticed, Max never slept until dawn. His eyes remained open, scanning the darkness around the room. Sometimes his fur bristled, his ears twitched to silent sounds. It was as though he sensed something no one else could. The moment Lily stirred, Max would lick her cheek softly. He only relaxed when morning light seeped through the blinds. Sarah's motherly instinct whispered that something was wrong. She decided to stay up one night, pretending to read nearby. As hours crawled by, Max suddenly stiffened at the same time again. His gaze locked on the window, unblinking, protective, tense. Sarah followed his eyes but saw only her reflection in the glass. The room was cold. A strange unease settled in her chest. Max whimpered low, pressing closer to Lily's tiny body. That soft sound pierced Sarah's heart like a hidden cry. It wasn't just loyalty, it was fear mixed with duty. Something beyond their understanding was haunting those nights. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling. Max knew something terrible, a truth buried in silence, waiting to be revealed. That night, sleep never came, only questions without answers, and a mother's heart trembling in the quiet. The darkness outside was no longer just night. Days passed, but Sarah's unease only grew heavier with time. Each evening, Max followed Lily upstairs before anyone else. The moment she entered the room, he took his position beside her. When Sarah tried to call him back, he ignored her completely. He wasn't being stubborn. He was guarding something precious. Late one night, Sarah heard faint footsteps from the backyard. Slow, dragging, too deliberate to be the wind or animals. Max growled quietly, eyes darting toward the window again. Sarah's pulse quickened, her body froze with dread. She tiptoed toward Lily's room, clutching her phone tightly. From the doorway, she saw Max standing alert beside the bed. His fur stood on end, his growl deeper, more desperate now. She peeked outside, but saw nothing except moving shadows. The air was heavy, cold, and strangely silent afterward. When she reached out to comfort Max, he leaned against her leg. For a brief second, she swore he was trembling, a loyal heart breaking under unseen weight. Sarah decided she couldn't take this mystery anymore. She needed to find out what haunted her nights. With trembling hands, she set up a hidden camera that night. Max watched her do it, tail low, as if he understood everything. When she whispered, "We'll find out, oi," he just sighed softly. And when Lily drifted to sleep again, he took his post once more. That was the last peaceful night before the truth revealed itself. The night that changed their lives forever. The next morning, Sarah rushed to check the recorded footage. Her heart pounded as the video loaded, minute after minute. At first, everything appeared peaceful, nothing unusual. Lily slept soundly, Max lying still beside her like always. But at 2:46 a.m., the screen flickered, static blurred the frame. For a moment, the image distorted, showing shapes of light. Then, a dark silhouette passed across the window. Sarah's breath caught. Her hand flew to her mouth. It wasn't her imagination. Someone was outside. Max's ears perked, body tense, growled deep and constant. He leaped from the bed, planting himself between Lily and the glass. The figure lingered, unmoving, as if watching her child. A shiver ran through Sarah's spine. Tears blurred her eyes. Her protector had been silently fighting real danger all along. The video showed Max barking once, then pacing restlessly. Minutes later, the shadow retreated into the night. Sarah paused the video. The faint face reflection chilled her. It wasn't random. It was someone familiar. She rewound, zoomed, gasped. It looked like her neighbor. The same man who often waved from across the street. Her trembling fingers dialed 911 before she could think. Within minutes, police lights painted the street in red and blue. They found footprints outside Lily's window, fresh in the soil. Her heart broke and healed at the same time. Max had saved her little girl from something unthinkable. The news spread fast through the small, quiet neighborhood. Everyone called Max a hero, the dog who protected his child. But Sarah couldn't stop crying. She hadn't known his burden. For weeks, he had stayed awake, carrying a secret no one saw. His sleepless eyes held stories of fear, courage, and pain. Even after police arrested the trespasser, Max wouldn't rest. He still guarded Lily's bed every single night. Sarah took him to the vet. He was healthy but exhausted. The doctor smiled softly. "He's been your daughter's angel." Those words stayed with her and changed everything. Sarah bought Max a new bed beside Lily's, warm and soft. Yet each night, he still chose the same spot on her blanket. He'd wrap his paw around her, sigh, and finally fall asleep. That image, pure, protective love, melted every heart. Neighbors brought him treats. Children hugged him in awe. But Max never sought fame. He only wanted peace for Lily. Sometimes Sarah caught him staring at her with gentle eyes, almost as if saying, "I did my job, Mom. She's safe now." Tears fell every time she thought of how loyal love could be. Max reminded her that real heroes don't need words. They just need a heart that beats for others. In his silence lived the loudest form of love. Sarah whispered every night, "Thank you, my boy." Because sometimes angels come wrapped in golden fur, and they guard our world without asking anything in return. Weeks later, peace finally returned to their home. Lily slept safely each night, dreaming under Max's watchful eyes. Sarah, however, couldn't shake the lessons her heart had learned. She replayed every moment, every bark she once ignored, every sigh that meant protection, not impatience. She realized how blind love can make us to silent sacrifice. Max had taught her more than any words ever could. He showed her what true devotion really looked like. A love that stays awake so others can rest in peace. a heart that breaks just to keep another heart whole. She often sat beside him, whispering stories of gratitude. He'd rest his head on her lap, eyes half closed, content. She finally understood. He wasn't just a pet. He was family, guardian, and silent savior in one. Whenever she watched Lily and Max together, her soul softened. Because behind that gentle bond lay something divine. The courage of one life protecting another, night after night. Max didn't just guard a child. He guarded innocence itself. Sarah vowed never to take quiet love for granted again. Every breath of her dog was a reminder of faith. Every wag of his tail, a promise of loyalty eternal. And though he could not speak, his actions said everything. Love means staying, even when the world sleeps. That truth she carried forever in her mother's heart. One rainy evening, thunder rolled across the sleeping town again. Sarah closed all windows tight, but unease crept back into her chest. Max sat by Lily's bed, ears up, eyes glowing in faint lightning flashes. Every rumble of thunder made him tense, ready to protect once more. Sarah whispered softly, "It's okay, boy. No one will hurt her again." But deep down, she felt something strange stir within the silence. At exactly 2:46 a.m., Lily woke up and whispered into the dark. "Mommy, there's someone outside again." Her tiny voice trembled. Sarah's heart skipped. She rushed upstairs, flashlight in hand. Max stood growling, not towards the window, but the door this time. A sudden knock echoed through the hall, soft, slow, chilling. Sarah froze, her breath misted in the cold air of the old house. When she opened the door slightly, Max barked twice, then ran to Lily, pressing against her protectively. He wasn't afraid of the storm. He feared what it hid. Sarah dialed the police again, tears filling her eyes with dread. They searched the yard and found something that broke her soul. The intruder had returned, leaving behind Lily's dropped toy. It was taken from her window ledge the night of the arrest. The man had been released and came back to the same house. But this time, he never reached the window. Max had been there, waiting like an unshakable wall of love. The police said he didn't get far. Your dog scared him off. Sarah knelt beside Max, hugging him tight through sobs. Once again, her guardian angel had saved her child. Time passed, seasons changed, but Max began to slow down. His fur turned silver, his steps gentler, his eyes softer with age. Lily grew taller, but she never slept without his paw on her side. The bond they shared became the heartbeat of the family's story. One winter morning, Sarah noticed Max didn't rise from his bed. He lay peacefully, eyes half closed, as if watching them one last time. Lily ran to him, her little hands shaking, whispering, "Wake up." But the loyal guardian had finally drifted into eternal sleep. The room filled with silence, the kind that hurts the soul. Tears fell freely, the kind that come from losing more than a pet. They buried Max under the old oak tree in their backyard. Lily placed her favorite blanket beside him, whispering goodbye. Sarah couldn't speak, her throat tight, her heart aching deeply. She touched the earth gently, saying, "Thank you for everything." That night, for the first time in years, Lily slept alone. But as the wind passed through the window, her blanket moved softly. A gentle warmth pressed against her side. Unseen but felt. Sarah smiled through tears, knowing love doesn't die. It lingers. Max's spirit still guarded them, wrapped around Lily like light. And though they couldn't see him, they could feel his presence. Every night, the curtains would sway. Just once, at 2:46 a.m., a soft reminder from the beyond that he was still on duty. Because real love, once given, never fades into silence. It simply changes shape, from fur to memory, from bark to soul. And in that home, his loyalty still breathed in every heartbeat. forever guarding the child he loved more than life itself. Love doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in loyal silence. Max's heart spoke a language of devotion no words could ever match. He taught a family that true protection comes without condition. A dog's love is pure, born from instinct, strengthened by loyalty. He never asked for thanks, only the peace of knowing she was safe. Each sleepless night was a silent promise, I'll watch over her. Sarah realized angels don't always come with wings and halos. Some arrive with fur, tired eyes, and endless patience for love. Max wasn't guarding just a child. He was guarding innocence itself. And through that, he reminded the world what real love looks like. Even after he was gone, his warmth lingered in every quiet moment. The empty bed wasn't truly empty. It carried his spirit's touch. Because love that deep never dies. It simply becomes unseen. The bond between a child and her dog transcends every lifetime. It's a connection carved not in years, but in shared heartbeats. Sarah often said, "He wasn't our pet, he was our protector." And every time the wind rustled Lily's blanket at night, she smiled. For she knew, somewhere beyond the stars, Max still kept watch. His love became eternal, proof that loyalty outlives even time. Because in the end, love is not about living long. It's about never leaving.